Zarkesh had killed in 43 star systems. 3,712 confirmed. Eliminations across species that ranged from the crystalline, Fexthari, to the plasma-based entities of Helion, Prime. The galaxy knew his name only as legend, the shadow of the void, the inevitable end that came for those who had accumulated too much power, too much wealth, or simply made too many enemies. He had never failed. Until Earth. The target's name was Marcus Chen, and the dossier made him unremarkable by any galactic standard. A mid-level logistics coordinator for a defunct human mining operation. No combat augmentations, no genetic modifications, no political connections that would warrant a Vexithari death contract worth 20 million credits. But someone wanted him dead, and Zarkesh didn't ask questions. He only delivered results. The human colony on Kepler 442b was a backwater settlement, barely 3,000 souls clinging to existence on a terraformed rock at the edge of civilized space. Zarkesh infiltrated the perimeter with the ease of someone who had done this 10,000 times before. His cloaking field bent light around his chitinous frame, rendering him invisible to both organic eyes and most scanning technologies. Marcus Chen lived alone in a prefabricated housing unit on the settlement's outskirts. The intelligence suggested he had lost his family in a shuttle accident 6 months prior. Wife and 2 children, gone in an instant when a faulty reactor exploded during a routine transport. Easy prey, Zarkesh thought. The broken ones never fought back. He entered through the ventilation system, his flexible exoskeleton compressing to fit through spaces no humanoid could manage. The interior was dark, lit only by the pale glow of a data terminal. Chen sat at a desk, his back to the assassin, staring at something on the screen. Zarkesh's plasma blade extended silently from his wrist. 3 steps. That's all it would take. 3 steps and a single strike through the spinal column, clean, professional. The human wouldn't even know death had come. He took the first step. "I was wondering when you'd show up," Marcus said, his voice flat and devoid of emotion. Zarkesh froze. Impossible. His cloaking field was military-grade Vexithari technology, undetectable by human senses. "Carbon dioxide concentration," Marcus continued, still not turning around. "Increased by 0.3% when you entered. Thermal variance near the ceiling vent. And your breathing, barely audible, but I've had 6 months of silence to sharpen my hearing." The assassin recalibrated. The target was aware, acceptable. Awareness didn't equal survival. He deactivated his cloak and closed the distance in a blur of motion, blade cutting through the air toward Chen's neck. The human moved. It wasn't augmented speed or combat training. It was pure, simple inevitability. The movement of someone who had already accepted death and found it lacking. Marcus rolled backward, the plasma blade missing by millimeters, and his hand came up with a makeshift weapon. A plasma torch retrofitted with a magnetic accelerator. The blast caught Zarkesh in the shoulder, punching through his armor plating. Pain, actual pain, radiated through his nervous system. In 4 centuries of killing, he had been wounded exactly twice. This human had just made it 3. You know what's funny? Marcus stood now, circling slowly. His eyes were hollow, dark circles underneath betraying weeks of sleeplessness. "I used to be afraid of death. Used to wake up at night thinking about it. Then I watched my family burn, and I learned something important." Zarkesh's combat algorithms processed dozens of attack vectors, but something in the human's eyes made him hesitate. A calculation error he couldn't quantify. "When you have nothing left to lose," Marcus continued, "you stop being afraid. And fear is what keeps people from doing what needs to be done." The assassin lunged, forearms extending with blades and projectile weapons. Marcus moved through the apartment like a man possessed, using furniture, doorways, and his intimate knowledge of the space to stay fractionally ahead of death. A mining charge, military grade, detonated where Zarkesh had been standing a second before, collapsing part of the ceiling. This wasn't combat. This was chaos. The human fought without technique, without grace, but with absolute commitment. He had booby-trapped his own home, turned it into a tomb he was willing to share. "I spent 6 months," Marcus shouted over the sound of collapsing metal, "figuring out why someone would want me dead. 6 months tracing shell corporations and data trails. You know what I found? Another explosion. Zarkesh's secondary lung collapsed. Witness elimination. I saw something I shouldn't have. Corporate espionage, fraud, the usual. Marcus laughed, a sound devoid of humor. My family died for nothing, and someone paid millions to finish the job. The assassin's internal system screamed warnings. Structural integrity at 40%. Multiple critical injuries. Tactical recommendation, withdraw. For the first time in 4 centuries, Zarkesh considered retreat. But here's what they didn't understand, Marcus said, advancing now with a plasma cutter in each hand, his home burning around him. You can't threaten a man who's already in hell. You can't intimidate someone who prays for the end every night. You sent death to kill death. Their final exchange lasted 3 seconds. Zarkesh, the galaxy's most feared assassin, utilizing every ounce of his 400 years of experience. Marcus Chen, a broken human with nothing left but rage and the absolute certainty that his own life meant nothing. The assassin's blade found its mark, punching through Marcus's abdomen. A mortal wound by any standard. Marcus's improvised weapons carved through Zarkesh's primary neural cluster. They fell together among the flames. The settlement's emergency responders found them both. Zarkesh died instantly, his biological systems too damaged to sustain life. Marcus Chen survived long enough to be placed in medical stasis, his words recorded by the first responder. Tell them humans don't scare easy, and the ones with nothing left? We don't scare at all. He died 17 hours later, never regaining consciousness. The Vexthari Assassins Guild received the report 3 days later. Marcus Chen's death was confirmed. Contract fulfilled. But besides Zarkesh's name in their holocrons, a notation appeared that would perplex contract killers for generations. Terminated target. KIA. Classification. Mutual elimination. Warning. Human psychology poorly understood. Recommend avoidance of targets with recent catastrophic loss. Survival instinct paradoxically inverted. It was the first time the Guild had ever posted a warning about an entire species. Humanity had been in the stars for less than a century, but the galaxy was beginning to understand something the elder races had forgotten. Survival instinct was powerful, but a human with nothing left to lose was unstoppable. Zarkesh had killed in 43 star systems, but it only took one human, one broken man in a prefabricated housing unit to teach the galaxy's greatest assassin his final lesson. Some prey bites back.